What's up, my favorite people? Sterling White here. Appreciate you so much. You'll definitely want to stay tuned to see me ride in that Ferrari. One of my first times, actually my first time being in a exotic car. But today's topic, you'll definitely want to stay into the very end on the purchases that you'll want to make in your 20s. And one is, it's actually not a Ferrari. So stay tuned. This is important because it's one of the things to really be able to set yourself up in the future and make sacrifices now to be able to live and be financially free and live the life that you want to live. So stay tuned. I kid you not, here in Houston, it gets humid. As soon as you step outside, you instantly feel this stickiness that comes across your fingers. And whenever I experience that, as soon as I walk outside, that's when I know I'm gonna have to bring an extra shirt because the one I have on is gonna get sweaty and then I'll have to go ahead and exchange it. But I digress. Comment below if anyone else has that too. And then also don't forget to hit that subscribe button as well as the notification bell. And then also, you guys, just go ahead and comment below with anything. You can literally just comment anything below. It really helps for the algorithm and just more people to see this that way, to really give them this lessons and experience. And you'll definitely want to stay tuned until the very end because I'm going to go into the best purchases for you to make in your 20s. All right, let's go ahead and go into the first purchase. But one thing I forgot to touch on earlier is that these are purchases that I've made, and then also I'm always looking to study others who are further along than me and really learning from them. And a lot of those experiences and why I made those purchases in my 20s was because of people further along. So it's always about just understanding of and emulating and getting mentored by people who are further along than you, and because success tends to leave clues, or actually it does leave clues. So the first purchase is books. And with books is, this can even be free by going to the library. And I remember that in my early 20s, I had this and there's that air freshener going off in the background again, is that in my early 20s, I had this very pivotal moment that happened for me, that I was at a college party, partying like some of you may actually be doing at this moment, and drinking, having a good time, doing what college kids do. And I ended up drifting away from the crowd. And that I was out in the middle of this boat, and it's very silent out there. And you can look up and you can see around that there's the moon shining on the water, and it's just silent. I'm just out there by myself and my thoughts. And then there's this beaming question that comes down to me and says, Sterling, is this what you want to do with your life? And up until that point, I was just drifting into average lane. And I answered back, no, this is not. And I did 3 key things. One was focus on mindset. Second was cutting out the news. And then third was just cutting out all the people that were around me because they were not going where I wanted to go. Great people, but mindset. And every single day after that is I was going to the library, and then also I would make purchases on an ongoing basis of books that the library didn't have that I wanted to actually read that content. So a couple of recommendations for you. And the importance of this is that you're able to get the skills and knowledge from these types of books, and depending on what content you actually go for, to get the information, because information is very critical, especially in the age that we're in now. I know there's information just about everywhere, but if you're able to get specific niche down information, that can allow you to get the skills to start your own business venture, company, or if you decide to go the route in working in the corporate world, that you'll be able to get the necessary skills to where you're not disposable, to where, let's say they're having whatever company you're working for, they had to lay certain people off, and they've got you along with everyone else that's up there, and the CEO or whoever makes those decisions is looking at, we'll have to let that person go, we'll have to let that person go. And then when you come up, they're like, nah, we can't do that. I mean, they're too valuable to the company. So that is what you'll be able to do by investing in yourself, and books is one of the foundational things. So one is 4-Hour Work Week by Tim Ferriss. This by far is one of the best books I've read from really just having the right mindset and working smarter, not harder. The second is Rich Dad Poor Dad. You can't go wrong with that either. It goes into the mindset, understanding money, and the difference between poor people thinking, a poverty mentality mindset thinking versus the rich and wealthy. The third is E-Myth by Michael Gerber, where it talks about the different operators of a business. And then the last is how to win friends and influence people, because in everyday life, sales is everything. And if you're not selling, you're doing the sold. So that's the first one, is investing in yourself through books. And the second is real estate, which is one of those things that is indestructible. It's a hard asset. You can look, touch, and feel it. It's what I do on a full-time basis, and with real estate is it constantly will go up in value just due to inflation and the prices going up. And there's also different ways how you can invest in real estate, such as buying it to hold on to it for the long term. There's fixing up a property, increasing the value, then selling it. There's getting it under contract for a lower price, which is wholesaling, and then selling it to an end buyer. So there's different strategies that you can use in real estate, but this is one, if you study the utmost successful, that they have some form of real estate in their portfolio. So that's one, is just studying those who are further along and what they do. It's a blueprint. And then you may have the question that says, well, I don't have any money. What I did was, when I first started and I bought my very first house, which was for $0, is I ended up getting into that just partnering with someone who had the cash. And at that time is I had negative funds in my bank account, but still figured out a way. And then that's how I was able to start my journey from there, and was able to buy closer to about 140 plus single families after that, and then started buying multi-unit property. But this is one of those things that it's a long-term play. It's not a get-rich-quick scheme. And if you're willing to do, especially in your 20s, is that will definitely set you up in the future. So we got Jeremy taking us for a spin in the Ferrari. There we are. So Jeremy here was meant for the camera. And he's got a podcast, What Men Want, right?
What Men Want.
And at some point he's going to be transitioning to video and audio. Episode, what was the one I was on?
Oh, I think you were episode 7.
There we go.
Yeah, I mean, we don't look as fine as Sterling on video, though.
He's got the smile for the camera. He's got the look. He's made for this. He's just shot and just looking at the camera. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and go for a spin here. All right, so we're at the burger joint here. Let me go ahead and turn this brightness up. Jeremy, what is your recommendation on what to get here?
You can't go basic, man. You gotta do something like
no basic?
Smokestack.
Smokestack?
Or the kimchi burger.
I've had the kimchi burger.
Oh yeah.
That was that was different. It's like what is that, like
Korean barbecue style.
Okay, gotcha. God, what is that you put on sauerkraut? It sort of reminded me of that. Is this somewhat the same thing?
Something similar, I
Something
guess.
similar. All right, well, I've had that before, so I'll go ahead and try something a little bit different, but can't be basic. Can't come here and just, can I get a cheeseburger with no cheese? That's very basic. Sweet potato fries there. Got an Impossible burger. Jeremy's already gone through the sweet potato fries.
Mac and cheese.
Mac and cheese.
Mac and cheese, hamburger, and pulled pork on that bad boy.
Got it. So if I were to rate this place, I've had it before. Out of 10, I give it a solid 7. Pretty good Impossible burger. Jeremy, what would you give it?
I mean, from a creativity standpoint, you gotta go 8.
Gotta go 8?
You gotta go 8. That helps.
Okay.
I mean, there's better burger joints.
I mean, it is called the burger joint.
But it's a vibe, man. I like the ambiance. I think that helps.
Okay.
From a food standpoint, it's for sure a 7.
There we go. We got an 8 and we got a 7. There we go. So I would say recommended, definitely. Both feeling like we ate a little bit too much. Maybe it's time for nap time.
Oh no! He's
You
got
want
a
to race?
YouTube channel. He's just being extra.
You want to race?
Yeah.
Let's do it. This is a loaner car, man. I don't mind.
Ah, fair enough. Oh, woo. There we go. You can hear the engine as it comes up or as it comes on. Ooh, and I got the mic on. Sometimes you guys always forget to put the mic. Got to be sure to click that on as we get going. And the next is hiring either a coach or a mentor. And there's ways, if you don't have the cash, especially in your 20s, to be able to pay for someone's time. This is one of the things that I have learned from so many people, that they've had some form of mentorship or some coach that's helped them along your journey. Because the thing is, yes, you can go out there and you can try and do it all on your own, which you can do, but there's going to be many more mistakes that you make and a lot of things that you don't see coming. And by having a mentor and someone who helps you along, is they look over your shoulder and say, hey, watch out for this, hey, watch out for that, and then also help you avoid certain mistakes that could potentially wipe you out. So for myself, is when I first started and I had my mentor, is I didn't have the cash, and I was so broke, you guys, that I would have $10 to my name. And when I would go to fill up my, I had a truck at that time. It was horrible on gas. It was about 10 to 12 miles per gallon. That I would have $10 to my name. I would show up to the gas station. I would fill it all the way up to $40, because you could do that at the gas station, and I would over withdraw my account. I would later pay it back, of course, but I kept doing that, and that was a vicious cycle. But however, I still found a way to get the mentorship that I wanted. So I exchanged my time, which was even more valuable. And so from that is, I helped that individual with whatever they needed in their business, such as helping out with the day-to-day operations on their management team. Is basically being, you would say it was an internship, but for free. And cleaning their apartments that he had, listing them available for rent. So whatever they needed, I was there for them, because I didn't have the cash. And for that is, I ended up compacting the 20 close years of experience they had in the field to about in the two and a half years that I ended up working for that person. So that's the value of mentorship. And also having a coach. But if you don't have the cash to be able to pay for someone's time, there is always a way. And when you're committed enough, you'll find a way. If not, you'll find a excuse. And the next is a alternative investment to real estate. And as a way to further diversify, is investing in stocks, mutual funds, or even crypto. And of course, crypto is quite volatile, but it's still something that you can diversify into. And by the way, you guys, one thing I want to mention, this is not financial advice. So that's just something that you've got the real estate side, which is a hard asset, and it's going to be there for the longer duration of time. But things such as stocks and mutual funds, especially if you put your money in the index fund, that tends to go, because it's got the top companies, and if a company is not performing, they'll just exchange it out. That over the longer duration of time, it's a more safer investment. So that's something that you can basically take smaller amounts of cash to just slowly invest into it, in what they call dollar cost averaging, which is basically, let's say every time you get a paycheck, for instance, is you just keep investing smaller amounts, and that will start to compound. And as you get older, again, this all goes back to is just setting your future self up. And glad that early 20s version of myself was making those sacrifices to put me in the position I am today. And even today, still making sacrifices to set myself up in the future. So it's avoiding the instant gratification, and just knowing that things are going to take time and make sacrifices, because yes, I could do things in the short term right now and be able to get that instant gratification or take shortcuts, but I just know it's not going to last for in the future. So just laying brick by brick by brick, and then in the future, my future self will look back and say, I'm glad that the 30-year-old self and the 20-year-old self helped to get me to where I am now. So that's just one thing I want to share with you on that side.
Dr. Sean.
All right, you guys, this is wild here. If I can find a Jeremy somewhere in here. Where is Jeremy at? Where is Jeremy? What's good? So we what's your
Stuntman Bird.
what was that?
At Stuntman Bird, baby.
At Stuntman Bird. That's the IG. All right, bet. Bird. All right. Then we got over here. What was it, Chris? We got Chris here on the ones and twos doing the DJ. Here we go. Turn that brightness up. Oh, there we go. Nice. Yeah. Oh, there we go. There he is. Just the man right here. The man with the plan. There he is. Driving the Ferrari early. EO guy. We got another EO guy right here. EO in the building. Love you guys. No, I love you too, Devin. And I'd say the last one is a quality laptop, because majority of the time, especially in your early 20s and in the age that we're in now, is we spend a lot of times on our actual laptops. So getting one that's more up to speed, and it's worth actually paying a little bit more for that, because they say, let's say, I remember there were so many times with the laptop that I had was a MacBook that it got so much older. I started to get the spinning wheel of death that started to really crush my productivity. So laptops are very affordable now, and just going with the one that has a really good processor, that way you're able to quickly get information or work on a business venture or whatever the case is. That just looking back is, I wish I invested more in a more quality laptop, and just looking so much on the short term to save costs when it actually ended up costing me a long run with time, which again, time is something that you do not get back. So appreciate you all so much. You know the next steps. Hit that subscribe button as well as the notification bell. That way you can be informed moving forward. And then also just comment anything below, literally just anything, and you can put it in quotes because it really helps out on the YouTube algorithm to more people can see this content, and it really does mean a lot when you guys do that. So I appreciate you so much. Keep being awesome, and thank you. All right.